Idioms. Idioms are expressions whose meanings are not predictable from the usual meanings of the words presented in a phrase. Idioms are very common in English, so it's important to understand them. The following slides will introduce different idioms used in English. You may have heard some of them, and some may be new to you. Let's look at the pictures together and see if you can guess the idiom and what it means. All in the same boat. Our first idiom is all in the same boat. Did you know you are in the same boat with people all the time? Can you guess what this means? We are in the same boat as others when we share the same situation or challenge. For example, if your whole class doesn't understand the homework assignment, then you're all in the same boat. A piece of cake. In English we say something is a piece of cake. Unfortunately, this idiom has nothing to do with cake. Have you ever heard this before? Can you guess what it means? When we say something is a piece of cake, we mean it's easy. For example, the student thought the project would be hard, but it was a piece of cake. What's a piece of cake for you? Bite your tongue. Our next idiom is bite your tongue. Has your mom ever asked you to bite your tongue? I think that would hurt, don't you? What do you think it means? If you bite your tongue, you stop yourself from saying something you really want to say. Here's an example. I really wanted to tell Carlos he was being stupid, but I bit my tongue and just sat there. Biting your tongue takes self-control. You crack me up. This idiom helps us express our feelings about someone in an interesting way. Can you guess what it means? People are always cracking me up. When you crack someone up, it means that you're making him or her laugh. When was the last time you cracked someone up? Driving me up a wall. This idiom is also about feelings, but don't worry, you don't have to drive to understand this idiom. This idiom is used when someone is really annoying you. For example, sometimes your little brother or sister might be driving you up a wall. Bend over backwards. This idiom has to do with helping people, not gymnastics. Can you guess what it means? To bend over backwards means to try very hard. You can remember this idiom if you think about the action of bending over backwards. It's not an easy thing to do, and trying to please or help someone else is not always easy either. Sometimes I find it hard to bend over backwards. Don't you? Hit the books. Most people read books, they don't hit them. I wonder what this idiom means. If you hit the books, you study or read hard. Students would say, I have to hit the books tonight because I have a big test tomorrow. Will you be hitting the books tonight? Lend me your ear. When we lend someone something, we let them use it for a while. What do you think this idiom means? Lend me your ear is a polite way of asking for a person's attention to listen to what you will say. For example, could you lend me your ear for a minute? I am asking you to lend me your ear while we learn about idioms. Under the weather. Have you ever heard someone say they're feeling under the weather? You may be surprised to find out that this idiom has nothing to do with rain, sleet, or snow. Under the weather means to feel sick. We would say, Jimmy is feeling under the weather today, so he won't be in school. I'm glad the weather doesn't follow us around, aren't you? A drop in the bucket. A drop seems so little compared to a whole bucket of water. Can you guess what this idiom means? This idiom is used to compare a small amount to a larger amount. If an amount is a drop in the bucket, it's a very small part of the whole amount that is needed. We could say, my $1 bill is just a drop in the bucket of how much money we need to collect. Because people use idioms in everyday conversations, it's important to recognize them and also to understand when and how they are used. Let's try one more. This time you pick from our 10 idioms and draw a picture that shows both the idiom meaning and the literal meaning. And last but not least is an idiom that means just because this is the final slide, it isn't any less important than the rest of them. After you're done, share your idiom with a friend.